Hey guys, I'm your host Dennis, and you're watching Gwent News. In this week's episode we're going to take a look at some observations by the Gwent players and users on Reddit, and they're quite amazing, this time even better than the usual ones. And then we're going to take a look at some suggestions made by the players regarding the seasonal modes, and also we are going to have some memes as usually, and some announcements that I have to make. And that's pretty much it for the hosts. We are gonna have Spyro_ZA talking about his feelings about Gwent and so on. So be sure to stay tuned and let's go to the bit. So right away to the announcements, I'm happy to announce that I became the Team Rank Stars Gwent's content creator team captain, and it's a big pleasure for me to be a part of the team on a higher level than just a regular content creator. So hopefully I'm gonna keep up the game with all the stuff that I put out, and thank you very much, Team Rank Star. You're the best team ever. Not saying because I'm part of the Team Rank Star or that I'm paid for it, but I truly mean it. The best team ever, with the best people and the best owner. Not paid. Okay, now that I got the announcements out of the way, I want to get to the observations. The observations for this week were quite amazing, and it started with the demo and card art observation by the user. Mercern was the name of the observator in this case, and he noticed that the litho of Gullet is present in demo and card art in the left bottom corner, if I recall correctly. I'm just gonna add a picture of it to this video so you can take a look yourself, and it's quite an amazing observation. I wouldn't see it myself, so big up to Mercern, keep it up. The other observation is a bit more satire when KD1109 noticed that in the Johnny's card art there's Siri running in the back, and also that Johnny is taking a poop, and the shit splash can be also seen on the card art, and that's a really amazing detail in my opinion. I want to say before I started gathering some interesting topics for the Gwent news that it's turning into full-on meme review, and that it's no longer Gwent news, but for this week's episode I have some great news also incoming still, so stay tuned certainly. And for now, let's get back to the memes, because who doesn't love a good meme or two, right? Have you ever wanted some money from a bald man and he turned you down? I didn't, and probably many of you didn't too, but Cambo Jumbo apparently did, and this is what happens with a very rude answer to it. Before I even see the next meme, I can hear it. Can you hear it too? After the release of the seasonal mode for the Draconid season, there's been many people complaining about the seasonal modes, including me, but aside of that, there's certainly been quite a fan base for the seasonal mode, as the people are now asking for a Blitz mode for Gwent, where you would take a limited time to play your turns, and it would be much more limited than the usual times in Gwent, because roping is still a thing in Gwent. And I could really get behind into that, because playing the games faster in a faster tempo is really nice if you want to grab more games and not just wait for your opponent to take a million years to complete his turn. But I would really need, at least for myself, I'd really need the animations to get faster, because I have quite some problems in the seasonal mode with not being able to complete the turns on time. Okay, CDPR. I can solo the extra, I can solo full test, and I can even solo the slow animations. But how you dare to do this? How can you make Harald's so unplayable? Just check this yourself out. It's unbelievable how trash he is now. Many of us were Disney when we wanted to rush for the Triss avatar in the seasonal mode, but we didn't realize what it has to come with it, and that it's not gonna be that easy as we thought originally, so this is probably what happened to you as well, just like me and the other players. Jamie_Atkins. You probably don't know this guy, but this guy took his time and created a predictor for Gwent cards. This predictor can recognize what deck is your opponent playing and what cards is he using. You just have to type the card that he has already used into the deck predictor and he's gonna predict what are the most likely decks that he's gonna play. You can check the original post down in the description on Reddit, and it's certainly something worth looking at. Every coin has two sides and is no different with Usurper. He is the necessary evil against Dijkstra and Foltest, so let's take a bit of a time to appreciate this card, even though I know you hate it, but I have to admit that it's still needed for the Gwent. Gwent is love. Gwent is life, and even Geralt knows that. This was it for my part, and now it's time for the host. The host for today's episode is Spyro_Za, who is gonna be talking about his feelings about Gwent.
Hello, how are you doing? So Spyro here, and so what do I think of the current meta or current state of the game? That's an interesting one to say. So the latest patch obviously arrived, and it definitely changed some things around. It definitely shook things up. It surprisingly, actually, it's kind of interesting because I don't think anyone saw it coming. But right now we have a meta where the top 4 factions are not actually Skellige and monsters for that matter. The top 4 factions right now being Northern Realms, followed by Syndicate, then maybe Scoia'tael and Nilfgaard, and Skellige and monsters trailing behind a little bit, which I don't think anyone really saw coming because, you know, for a long time Skellige has definitely been the predominant or one of the dominant factions in the game. So it's definitely shaken things up quite a bit, and it's definitely brought Northern Realms up to quite a powerful standard that is quite scary right now, honestly. Right now we have a lot of Northern Realms decks on ladder, and very, very scary ones in fact, especially with Foltest. We received quite a major buff in the last patch, not only with support, but with obviously just overall power increase with regards to his provision increase and leader ability adjustment, which makes him very, very dangerous and very, very difficult to counter. Which leads me to my next point. There's a lot of things in this meta or this patch that I think is done very well, and it's going to open up to some definitely new types of, you know, strategies and decks that we might see in the future. But right now there are a few decks that are kind of, I would say, oppressing the meta in a way that are preventing, you know, a lot of the other types of decks from seeing the light of day. If you look at Foltest, for example, Foltest is a very, very strong deck, and I think that Meve is also extremely powerful, and so is Calanthe. But the problem is, there's almost no reason to run Meve or Calanthe because of how just good Foltest is. The other decks just are so much weaker than Foltest. Well, not weaker, but they're just not as strong as Foltest is. It's not to say that Meve is bad or anything, it's just that Meve is actually very good, but just Foltest is so much better that there's no reason to actually run some of the other decks, which is a little bit sad to see because there's a lot of new types of decks and cards that can see play but are just kind of shut down, or rather not seeing play because of just how good Foltest is. And I definitely think that I would like to see maybe a change done to Foltest, because right now Foltest is very, very strong. I do want to see Foltest in the meta. He is, you know, a very interesting leader ability and definitely opens up some different types of deck building. But right now I feel like Foltest is kind of one of the leaders where if you see it on ladder, you're either building a deck to beat it or you're just going to get beaten by it, which I don't exactly feel is that healthy for the game. But that being said, I like what they've done with the patch in a lot of other regards, especially if you look at Northern Realms before the patch. I would say over half the cards in Northern Realms were literally unplayable. Like, there were so many cards there that were just completely, you know, nonsensical. And now a lot of them, or at least most of them, actually I could see being played in a variety of different types of decks, which I really, really like. So how do I enjoy this meta right now? I don't know, it's kind of tough to say. I do not enjoy playing against some of the meta decks right now, even though of course I play them obviously, but it kind of, after you know, sometimes you queue and you play against Foltest and a few Dijkstras, it can be a bit stale, but I definitely do see the potential in this patch going forward with a new patch or a hotfix or some kind of, you know, readjustment. I feel like the game will be in a pretty good space in the near future, but right now I think there's still a few things that need to be, you know, tweaked and looked at, and then I think we will be on the right track soon. So what decks do I enjoy playing right now? I enjoy playing a bit of Syndicate. I've always liked Syndicate since it came out. I really enjoy the decision making that needs to be played in Syndicate. There's a lot of forward thinking in Syndicate type of decks, and I really enjoy that about Syndicate. You have to think ahead, you have to plan your plays, which I really like. It's very rewarding, and it's also very punishing if you do it wrong. So for that reason, I really enjoy playing a Dijkstra deck, not a Townsfolk Ego deck, because of that I find it is a little bit cheesy, but I like playing like a bounty oriented deck, which is probably one of my favorite decks right now to play, because of the way the deck is played. There's a lot of decision making and forward thinking involved, which I quite enjoy. I don't exactly enjoy playing against Faultless, I'm not gonna lie. Faultless is one of those decks when I see it in live, I'm like, oh damn, not Faultless again. Because the thing with Faultless, like I said, you're either building a deck to beat Faultless, or you're just gonna lose to Faultless. And I don't exactly like that about Faultless, so it kind of means that most of the time I'm playing against Faultless, it's kind of like oh damn, I'm queuing against Faultless, I'm just gonna lose, right? So I would like to see Faultless maybe brought down a little bit. And so what would I change? So there are some cards I think need some number adjustments. I'm looking at Kira and Roche. Those cards, the numbers there just are a bit, I think, over the top. They provide a lot of support. They provide a lot of power, just pure points. And I think they do need to be toned down a bit. Maybe I'll reduce some numbers on Kira. Because right now she's almost, I would say, unconditional value. I wouldn't quite go as far as saying unconditional value, but I mean the condition is very easy to meet and you very easily get the value. So I'll maybe look at numbers on Kira, maybe look at the numbers on Roche, and I would definitely maybe look at some of the leaders like Faultless, for example. I don't think he needs to be +2 because right now he's a 6-point leader at the worst, and he also provides Zeal and extra buffs to something like Sulker, which kind of double dips on the value of the leader, which is pretty insane. So I'll maybe look at the numbers on Faultless and change some of these cards around, such as Kira, Roche, and I think also Ego is a pretty problematic card right now. I think Ego should probably get a cooldown because he opens up a lot of game-breaking interactions that can be quite easily abused and very binary in a lot of regards. You either have an answer for it or you don't, and you just lose, which I would like to see maybe changed. But yeah, I think overall though, this patch definitely, I can see where they were going, and I definitely do think that, although a lot of things right now are problematic, I do kind of like the direction they're going in. I would like to see, Northern Realms not kind of just like the throwaway faction that it used to be. I like it being able to have, decks and synergies that work well together, which we do have now. Obviously a bit too well right now, but maybe a few tweaks and I think we might be there, and I would definitely like to see what will be done going forward in the next patch when we get another balance, sweep at the game. But overall, kind of mixed bag, but I think there's definitely things I like and there's definitely things I don't like, and I think the things that I don't like can be very easily adjusted and very easily tweaked, and I'm not too worried about that. I'm just hoping that we get a patch relatively soon so we can start evolving the meta and planning for the upcoming tournaments and things that are coming to Gwent. But yeah, thanks for having me, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye guys.
This is it for this week of Gwent news. I hope you enjoyed the Gwent news. I'm certainly looking forward for your suggestions down in the description, down in the comments about what I can make better, and I hope to see you at the next Gwent news again. See ya!